to Go for Lethal. My name is Tabani.
I'm Dean Kazanov.
I'm Zach Chamberlain.
And I'm Chris Okamura.
We are back again after a little bit of a hiatus. We had an episode a week ago that was a little bit tough for us to get out. It's also a crazy day in American history. We're not going to tell you when we're recording this, but just that subtitle should tell you what day we're recording this because it just happened. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about in the One Piece world as well. Let me just throw it to you guys real quickly. How was your weekend? How's the last couple weeks been? How you guys been doing?
Pretty good. You all
Not
want
bad.
to?
I think everyone's been kind of testing for Dallas. We're getting ready to go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody going to Dallas? I know Chris and Dean are going to Dallas. Are you going to Dallas, Zach?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just you that's not going.
Yeah, it's just me, the clown prince supreme. But look, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm really, really excited. So let's just start off right off the bat with the big headline. Actually, BP Luffy is finally back in the meta again. Dean, you brought up this topic. Did you want to kind of throw that?
You said was it Zach, the inner Magic player, screamed for a second?
Yeah, I did. UP Luffy.
Yeah, it has to be UP. That's
it's UP Luffy.
Well,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
UP
The thing
Luffy.
is, that's what the community split on it, because like all the Magic players like know for time and time again, it's supposed to be like blue is U, because you have to differentiate between black and blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like people who haven't played Magic all over Twitter and Reddit and everything are always like BP, and I'm like, are you talking about OP09? You know, like peanut butter.
I feel like we just yeah. I know I've started to do UP. I remember the first time I saw somebody do UP or UI, I was like, that's stupid, and now I do it because I'm like, oh god, I don't know if
well, again, it's not stupid because it's a thing of like both black and blue both start BL, so you have to go with the one letter that's different.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well,
look. Let's talk about it though. So Dean, you said that there was a bunch of like results that happened over like the last weekend, you think, right, Dean? And he was telling me, like, I came to the tournament on Monday, one of our locals, and Dean's immediate thing was like, dude, have you seen the results? And it was apparently the resurrection of Blue Purple Luffy. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, Dean?
Yeah, it was just crazy just to see the results this past weekend. So I think this past weekend was really going to be the premier weekend that people are basing their like last minute testing for Dallas Nationals off of. And we just saw Blue Purple take it, by storm. It was absolutely crazy. I think in some places it was as much as.
And this is post ban list, correct?
Yeah,
obviously.
This is all post ban list, and we're actually seeing like some sauce. Like I think one of my favorite like pro players in the community, Elijah Quinby, was on a like complete Dofi based build, trying to go Dofi into Rosinante, so you populate 3 bodies out of nowhere as soon as you hit 10 dawn. But then a lot of people like Chris Sock, who actually won the Florida Regionals this past weekend with Blue Purple, was on a more traditional like Mihawk build where you're just trying to like rush your opponent down and then populate Sanji,
remove bodies.
Yeah, that's what I've seen more often. I've seen more often the Mihawk rush ACOS Luffy.
Yeah,
and like I've seen some people throw Kuros in there too. The 7 cost.
Yeah, Kuros. Yeah. The only thing is, it's another. I don't like Kuros because it's another brick, and I just think I'm baffled by how many Rayleighs were beat by Blue Purple this weekend. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know if the rush Luffy changes it that much because you're then bouncing a 4 every turn, right?
I mean, with Kuros.
No, with the 8 cost rush.
Yeah,
Luffy.
the 8 cost rush Luffy.
Oh,
so like,
I feel like that's a card I really do. I've like ever since Blue Purple came out, I felt like very weird that people were not running that. Because like I understand why, because you run the 9 cost the 9 cost Luffy instead. Why wouldn't you just run that, or why wouldn't you do Sanji and the Big Mom? But I can tell you right now, like the biggest, like one of the biggest hurdles for Blue Purple when it came out was Bello Betty. Like Bello Betty was really tough, and I played one of our locals with Bello Betty, who was playing Bello Betty, and I played 8 cost Luffy. And he was like, "You're not supposed to have that in your deck. That's really weird that you have that." And it really made that game a lot closer than it should have been, just because I could just keep bouncing something. And I made a critical mistake because that's the second time playing the deck, and I fucked up, right? But I feel like that's a card that gets slept on a lot, that you know, should be used. I know it's traditionally used in Nami. I don't know if does Nami still use it after
You run
Odin came out?
run 2 in Nami, but I mean the thing with ACOS Luffy is it sort of turns the game, especially against Rayleigh, right? It turns the game a little differently where it's kind of like how you play Zoro, where like Zoro you want to go wide and you want to protect board rather than life, right? But like the way that you play UP is kind of the opposite. But then now if you put the Rush Luffy in there, or the ACOS Rush Luffy in there against the Rayleigh matchup, you do want to protect your board, because like then you're trying to, the more swings that gets in, the more you're bouncing and the more you're like slowing down their offense, right? And so like it makes it, I see the viability of it. It's just a matter of like, okay, now I'm basically keeping that up to swing, and then now just keeping up all my Dawn for like counter events and like God Thread and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah. I think, you know, there's an argument to be made that it's maybe the Dofi build is a little bit better, because, you know, we had like a lot of that Dofi build won the regionals we went to in Vegas, didn't it?
That one was running like full sugars and everything, right?
Well, that was like Don Quixote Pirates build, right?
But that was also when Bello Betty was at its prime, and like certain decks were at its prime that I think the Don Quixote package lended itself to. I don't think that it stands true to the meta anymore.
But there's an inherent like plus to running that Don Quixote package, right? Like that Rosinante, I think a lot of people sleep on that Rosinante quite a bit. That 2 extra Dawn propped up is really nice. Like especially into something like Blue Purple Luffy, which, you know, you have a lot of events and you have a lot of things that can ramp you, but at the same time counter, right? And so much of the time when you ran the other version of that deck, you're killing 9 of your Dawn, right? And you have 1 up, and then you have just whatever counters there. And this way you can actually use those events a lot more succinctly, and you can probably tech in more. I mean, Thunder Baghua's, I feel like, a lot more ubiquitous now with this build, because you can ramp from it, and because you have it's reasonable that at 10 you would have the space with everything that's there. I feel like, just, I understand that we all didn't like Royal Blood, but the Don Quixote package in Royal Blood was really strong for purple. I just feel like people felt a little uneasy running it, or they felt like it wasn't the best thing or the most optimal to run, even though it had clear advantages.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I just think the focal point of like your 9 Sanji turn should not be like just playing into another 9k beater that all it does is just play Rosinante, right? And what else does Dofi do?
No, it does something at the end of the turn too.
Yeah,
like,
it
ramp
ramps
a Dawn,
and restands 1. It's like you may rest 1 and then ramp 1.
Yeah,
it's like a 1-for-1 thing. It's really weird.
It sets you back to 10.
Doesn't even benefit you on most turns, right? Like
it would because the Dofi is Dawn -1 to play.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So it sets you back to 10, which is good because it turns on your giant again. But I just think like there has to be some middle point, because like Elijah Quimby,
it is not, by the way, at the end of your turn. It is on your opponent's attack once per turn. You may rest 1 of your Dawn cards. Add 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set it as active.
Yep. So that's even better then. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
It's
a ramp during your opponent's turn to get your ability back online.
Yeah. So
that's kind of nuts, because you could feasibly it's the same thing, but it's feasibly you get to stay at the same, like you could do. I mean, you could giant, and then if you have 2 Dawn up, you could giant, like whatever, and then like you could tap, get another Dawn back, and then giant. With your second giant, we got it.
But Dean's use case here is like he's saying on your Sanji turn, prioritizing Dofi.
I'd almost always rather have Mihawk.
You'd almost always rather have that.
And I would also argue Rosinante is supposed to come out before you get to your 9 Dawn turn, isn't it? You want Rosinante out.
Well, in that build, I think the goal is you spend the first few turns ramping, and then you go, if you have the card advantage for it, like, you know, because you have to have these 3 cards within your hand or the top 5, you go Sanji into Dofi into Rosie, and you restand 2 Dawn, so you have 3 Dawn up, so you can't be Hodied or anything. And then that list is also running Hell's Judgment, I think. So that list is really
strong.
Yeah, really tuned for Zoro. I think the Dofi build's definitely better into Zoro, even though you're giving them a target to like rest and swing into. It doesn't matter because it prevents you from being Hodied or prevents you from being Hody evented. So I think it's really strong, but like I'm not concerned about Zoro. As far as I'm concerned, that's like a 45-55 or 40-60 matchup for UP.
Yeah,
I'm concerned about Rayleigh, which might just like gatekeep UP because you don't have heals anymore.
Well, let's talk a little bit about like UP's heals, and let's talk specifically about the big healer that we've been talking about for pretty much since this podcast started. Giant, Gum Giant has been the looming thing over everybody's mind. Every time a ban list comes out, every time a new purple Straw Hat leader comes out, and if you're looking at the OP13 results, not a lot of purple Straw Hats there. And I remember talking to Dean as well. We had this discussion a little bit on Monday. Has Gum Giant kind of been power crept out of being broken? We'd also talked about this too, that this was a possibility of how Bandai could balance it, was just power creep the whole fucking game and give everybody a version of a giant or a rad beam to protect themselves.
I think the issue is like everyone's gotten, basically every color's gotten rad beam.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job of like limiting it to like, Straw Hats wasn't really a limit for purple because the best purple decks were notoriously Straw Hats, especially as soon as they banned RP Law, right? But now they've done a good job of being like, okay, only Kuzan gets it. But now it's like Kuzan, VV from EBO3 just got it. Emu got it, which honestly could have done so much without that.
Dude, Emu got two of them, bro.
Yeah, I got one.
One of them KOs, right?
No. We messed. One of them KOs an 8K power or less, right, Zach? We messed this up last time.
One of them KOs. It KOs the stage. It KOs a 7-drop stage.
It's for the mirror.
Well, that's the rad beam. There's one that's a rad beam.
The other one,
straight up just one Dawn 4K counter, and then you can KO the 7-cost stage.
I think the second one is a 3K. I think the second one was a 1-cost 3K counter.
Yeah, it's 1-cost 3K to your lead though. It's like the hybrids we've been seeing for the last 3 sets.
And I think in terms of like Giant, there are a lot of other leader abilities that have gotten. I think Zoro specifically is a really like the way you can restand that thing. Yeah, that's just very
super power crept.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like so it's much more tough to do. And then also there are other cards that you could tech in that are a little bit scarier than Giant in some ways. We were talking about black purple. There's the build right now going on with black purple that's anti Zoro is a build with Hell's Judgment and Black Spiral, or Black Vortex right at the forefront, right? And those cards, there's a lot of instances where you kind of want those instead of Giant, right? Like the Hell's Judgment is incredibly strong.
6K worth of counter, for 2 Dawn.
Oh, dude, yeah, and it's for the turn too. So that doesn't only work on Zoro, works on Rush Luffy, right?
Yeah.
It works on
7-cost Odin.
Yeah, it could turn into like a
7-cost
Odin.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, Odin for sure.
That's Odin erasure. Me just forgetting about him there.
So yeah, just turn into a 2 Dawn 9K counter against some matchups.
I think
at the least, it's still.
The thing to note too, like I played against a lot of Sokka over the last week.
Yeah.
And like it's running Hound Blaze. Like Hound Blaze is not just like in the deck. It's like a very critical part of the deck. In its current state.
The first guy I played at this fucking regional, at this local was a Sokka.
Yeah.
Sokka play. Oh, you're playing Sokka right there?
Nah, he got the double Sokka.
Hey, I put this up there just because the last time we did remote, we were like, it might get banned or it might get unbanned.
Yeah.
It did
by the way,
unbanned.
can you move to your left a little bit?
To my left. What are you trying to see? You trying to see somebody shit talking you in the chat?
No, I want to try to see like you in the middle of the screen instead of just like the side of your face just cut off.
I'm trying to see the 10 ruby toes or whatever. What are they called? The band
10 ruby toes. I like the 10 ruby toes. What is this, bro?
10 ruby toes. It's like oh my god, somebody who plays Sim.
It's the celestial dragons, because Ryu means dragon.
Yeah. It's what they call that's the username you get if you talk too much shit on Sim.
Yeah, if you're an asshole, you get the 10 ruby toe. Well, okay, so Giant's not the most broken thing. I think the other thing we should talk about, like, let's maybe just jump into OP13 then, because I think
real quick before that I have to say this, because we were just talking about black purple and all the ways it has to attack against Zoro, and we all thought Zoro was going to be really strong, and we can all agree Zoro is a pretty strong deck, but I feel like it's turned out to be weaker than we all thought it would be. And I don't mean the card quality, I mean because the playlines are so simple and it is really techable against.
It's really straightforward. That's the problem.
I compared it to Shanks. I think it's the Shanks problem, which is like, it's a simple playline. And I think you can play it in a complex, I think you can play it smartly and not do the obvious things. I think making sure, like, but you're still in control of it to some. I think it's a very strong deck. But yeah, I mean, first off, I think Zach is on his high horse because he played UI and got Slave Arrows. And Slave Arrow has seemed like we should talk about that. That seems like a very strong tech against Zoro that a lot of people have started to run Slave Arrow, because Slave Arrow, what is it? It's a 2 cost or it's a 1 cost?
1 cost.
1 cost. Return a character 3 or cost or over to your hand.
2 costs are over.
2 costs are over to your hand, and
very
then
important
give your leader
4K.
And what happens with Zoro is, if he's attacking a character, you return it to your hand. He didn't battle anybody, so he's done. He gets to chill and just sleep, and you're like, what the fuck? What?
It's also a 1 cost event that gives you 4K counter and possibly an extra 2K in hand, because you can bounce a 2K, so it can essentially turn into a 1 cost 6K counter.
Yeah, Chris knows they were running Slave Arrow at one point when Nami just came out. Like, that was like the original
tech was the Slave Arrow.
Yeah, before Zoro.
Like, I ran Slave Arrow when I was running it in Japan for like that 2 weeks or whatever. I think the issue was the meta at the time. It wasn't as necessary. Now I think it's more arguable that you can put it in there. Like, I debated taking out 2 cost Teach to put in 3 Slave Arrow for Dallas.
Yeah.
But you know, it's something that I've been like kind of messing with.
I feel like you have to, no, Chris? Like that Zoro, even with Odin, that Zoro matchup's pretty bad, dude.
It depends. I've gotten to the point where you just rely so much on Kikanojo and Kuma, where you build the board out in a way where you either
swing on my board, go for it.
Swing on my board, go for it, and then they either again. There's the picture that me and Ari posted on Twitter, where like I have 10 life. Because he had to, I was gonna kill him next turn unless he cleared the board.
Yeah, he has to respect those bodies. That's the one thing I do think is keeping Zoro from being B-diff. I think it's like this close to B-diff. The only reason I think it's not is the deck is very spongy, so it has no natural card advantage. Yeah. Like, you'll get, even Bonnie now has card advantage, right? For the longest time, that was the biggest pitfall of Bonnie, was like, oh, whatever I have from my 5 life and drawing 1 card a turn, that's all I have to protect my kid. And now they have the Bonnie blocker that generates card advantage. You know, you get a free blocker and re-standadon. Yeah. Zoro has none of that. Like, it's essentially like Yellow Katakuri was back in the day. It's very powerful.
I think the tech that's changed the matchup quite a bit is the addition of Paradise Waterfall. I think that tech's become a really important part of that deck.
Yeah. Oh, that tech is stupidly good, because it's not only for Mihawk too. And like, I was not running it for a while, and I played. I played. It was at King Fandom where I played somebody, or no, I don't remember. Forget where it was, but I played 2 Mihawks, and I had 2 Paradise Waterfalls, like in my hand, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? Well, what are you gonna do?
The tech that I saw the other day was someone used it to restand Tashigi, the 3 cost,
to protect their shit.
That's disgusting.
Smart.
And I was like, oh, like, this tech is crazy. Like, it's so good.
Yeah,
like, the use case for everything is really versatile.
But like Spiderweb, like I constantly go back to Spiderweb because I'm like, dude, in a deck that has no card advantage, Spiderweb is just the same thing as Paradise Waterfall but doubled, right? It's a 2 Dawn 4+4K counter. I always go back to, I'm like, maybe the curve doesn't support it, but like if you don't have natural card advantage built into your deck, like why not just play the same thing but doubled up in a single card?
Yeah.
I thought about that a lot, and the only way I thought about it, and I realized it with Blackbeard because I was trying, I forget what it was. It was Black Vortex, but then there was some 1 Dawn event at one point I was trying to like see if it would work.
Maybe Barrier.
And I realized that leaving up 1 Dawn is infinitely easier than leaving up 2.
Yeah.
And especially I think that's why. And 2K, a free 2K, a 1 cost 2K is pretty solid. That restands your 8K blocker.
Yeah.
That cost 1 Dawn.
I think Zoro gets away with it because they're restanding an 8K blocker, whereas in other decks you're only restanding, like a chump blocker or something that gets OD'd. So I think they get away with it because of the size of the 8K blocker.
I mean, but there's also just a lot of characters that operate off of. I was thinking the other day of using it for, like, and this is like a big brain, like it wouldn't work, right? But there's a way to make it work. Like throw Tashigi down there, use Tashigi, like attack with Tashigi or something like that, right? And then they'll swing into the Tashigi first, then you Paradise Waterfall, and it's back there, and they have to rethink their turn or whatever. Like
if you restand a character, does the attack?
Does it work the same?
It's still a target.
Yeah, it was like
you still gotta like counter out of it, but like it's gonna be like they
you
swing
get somebody who's a chud and just swings 5 to 4. Yeah, you just 2 for 1 them. But every other space, like you should be swinging 6 to 4, right?
This is my dream matchup where all I'm doing is playing chuds. Okay, all right, that's my dream.
Yeah. I mean,
hey, one of your plays actually got played though. I got Black Vortex the other day by a koala as Blackbeard, and I thought that's fucking funny. I didn't even question the 2 Dawn.
I told you.
Yeah, I couldn't turn off the on plays, and I laughed so hard. And I was like, dude, that's so cheeky. And I was like, I gotta tell Zed this the moment I can.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
I love it. My I think that's the, honestly, like because even running, because I've been testing Purple Black because I want to try to play it. Like I like Zoro, but I want to try to play Purple Black or Rayleigh at some point. GP's just not doing it for me right now, even though like I really love the deck.
Too hard. Same thing as Rayleigh. Honestly, too hard.
Well, I feel like Rayleigh has a lot of advantages. Like there's worth it for the skill ceiling. I feel green purple, you're working against gravity with the way this meta is going.
Yeah,
I don't think you're working against that with Rayleigh. With Rayleigh, like you have to
Rayleigh's
do
just
math.
Complicated. Rayleigh's extremely complicated.
Well, I'm Indian, so I can do the math. Okay, like I'll be Life of Pi on that shit. All right, and I'll figure it the fuck out.
But it feels like it's not as bad, but it's in the same vein. Like me and Dean always joke about it of like green yellow law. We're like
green yellow law is like doing physics though. I don't want to fucking do physics.
It's a similar thing of like you work so hard, but the advantage you get for working 3 times harder than everyone else is
actually
like not
minuscule. Yeah, whereas Rayleigh, I think it actually is worth it. Like if anybody's like looking to be on a deck for the next 3 to 5 months, and they're just like, what's not going to get banned, what has a high skill ceiling, and then what's rewarding and still has like really powerful plays, play Rayleigh. The only reason I'm not on it
Rayleigh's fun, dude.
Yeah, I just don't like aggressive decks, and all you do is go face in that deck basically. But it's just super rewarding deck. It's super high power level.
The thing with Rayleigh is like it has like into Nami in particular, it's a horrible matchup for Rayleigh. It's so bad.
I know.
But you can still win.
You can still win. I've lost to it before. But like it feels, because I've played the other side of it. I tried Rayleigh. It feels real bad.
Bro, I played like right after I played a Sokka on my first, like I said, I played Sokka on Monday, the first game, and I was like, let me try Rayleigh, because I was thinking about playing Rayleigh that day, and I was like, no, I'll play Zoro again, right? Yeah. So I played Rayleigh. I was like, why is this such a bad matchup? And he played Stage for Sokka, because that was a card I didn't know existed, and I was like, this is bad. This is bad, bro.
Yeah, there's just some matchups for Rayleigh where you just feel it just feels bad.
And now,
yeah,
NL, it's like hell. It's like hell matchups.
I think that's my problem. I think that's my problem with GP right now. Is like it was a match. I felt like it was a deck where you were like, okay, I enjoyed making the decisions with GP, right? I feel like with certain matchups, especially with Zoro, you would just start off on the back foot. It felt like purple black, to be honest. Purple black feels less like you're starting on the back foot now, and GP feels like you are starting on the back foot. Especially against things like Zoro and everything like that, you know? I've played. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, yeah, it's just GP, very high power ceiling, but like, you know, every deck is meta dependent, right? I think Buggy is one of the most like high power ceiling decks after the starter deck, but it's just gonna get gate kept by Zoro until the end of time now, right? So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to OP13 because we've been talking a lot about like kind of the Zoro meta and these counters that we have. OP13 is really the meta I think that's looming over everything right now, especially because it's such an explosive power creep that happens. Do we know the date that OP13 comes out in the States?
It's middle of November, I'm pretty sure. So like we know PRB is October 3rd, which is really relevant for I think just me and Zach. I don't think the two of you.
No, it's relevant for me. But GP comes back, I think.
With well, no, you come back with OP13 for sure. Like you're back top of the meta, I feel like, assuming they do something about this problem with IMU. But that being said, yeah, like we will in the West get PRB for most of our October regionals, and then like every single one but one, and then all of the November Treasure Cups. So very relevant set out of nowhere for us.
Yeah, and I think it's an important set to talk about because it feels like the meta. Tell me if I'm wrong, Dean, because you've been Dean and Chris. Tell me if I'm wrong for what you guys think. It feels like it's wide open to some extent, but it feels like there's a couple really busted things. Like I feel like by wide open I mean there's still tech being discovered and there's still a lot of variety of leader variety.
Yeah, it's jungle meta for sure.
Yeah, but right now there is a clear triangle.
In wait, in OP13 or our meta right now?
No, Japan
13.
Japan 13. So
13 is not jungle meta at all.
Triangle.
No,
it's not.
It's a
13
clear triangle.
You play 2 to 3 decks, and if you don't play those, you're actually throwing.
Yeah, it's you literally play Imu, Ace, or Zoro. If you don't play one of those 3, you lose, and then everything else is like, if Roger high rolls, then you're good.
Yeah, I mean, because Roger only has one searcher, right?
What would you say the tier list is now? Like if we're making a tier list, Imu
for
is definitely
OP13.
Top. Yes,
Imu is definitely top. Red, blue, Ace
is top.
Ace is top.
I put Imu ahead of Ace, but that's just me.
I'd agree.
I don't know.
So very quickly, because we didn't get to really go over because we didn't get to post the last episode, right? Let's just very quickly go over Imu and Ace for everybody who doesn't know. Blue Red Ace was the 6K leader who everybody thought was like, it's whatever, and became the little engine that could because his ability is you minus 2K from something for discarding.
Right? Small tangent. I think it's so funny that this episode we're talking about how busted Rayleigh and Ace are, when those are the 2 leaders on the 10 or so episodes we've done of this podcast we've shit on the most.
Dude, we have.
I believed in Rayleigh. I just want to let you know I believed in that shit. I stuck 10 toes down on that shit, and you're like, oh no, it's terrible, bro. It's terrible.
I'm standing 10 toes down that both of those leaders standalone are ass. Like
the support they got was crazy.
Video player ass, dude.
Yeah, the support they got was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like especially the support. Like honestly, if Ace doesn't get that ST22 8 cost event, the one that cheats out of Whitebeard, I actually think the deck is just dead.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Like that event makes the deck really strong. But look, like to be fair, they've been trying to make Ace and Whitebeard Pirates happen for so many decks. Like it feels like aggressive at this point to them just being, it's like your mom telling you that you need to marry a doctor, right? Like it's just, you want to play Whitebeard? Do you want to play Whitebeard? Here's an alt art Whitebeard. Here's another Whitebeard that does this. Here's a Whitebeard starter deck. Here's a 10. Now you have so many fucking Whitebeards
Yeah,
right?
no,
It's so many
P13
Whitebeard
was
pirate cards.
the doctor husband convention, and they all showed up at the same fucking place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was the arranged marriage contract coming through.
Now, granted, and I did preface this
Crazy
before.
coming from you.
I still do need to see. I need to see Ace and Emu played not in Japan. I need to see it. Because the way that they people pilot in Japan is very different. And I need to see it without Japanese hands. But that being said, they're really strong.
I think it's a very strong deck, and I think like what is it? So okay, look, so Ace at the end of Ace is a late game deck, right? You're just use the 8 cost event to drop a 10 beard, right?
Yeah.
And that 10 beard gives 2 rested dawn to both your leader and one of your characters, right? And it's a blocker, and it's basically very, very Blackbeard like, where it just plays these giant.
Well, yeah, I mean, you play that so you use the 8 cost event to play that one. You use it to play the OP. Which one was it? Like the OP 08 one.
OP 08, yeah.
Where like that one makes you. So you give it rush. It's a 10k, 12k body, and it's the effect is something effective like.
Wait, how do you give it rush?
With the event, you play it out with the Whitebeard event.
Did I not read the event?
The Whitebeard event gives it rush.
I thought that it was an 8 cost event. It cheats out Edward Newgate, and then if you want to take.
I'm thinking of another one. Never mind. I'm thinking of another event because I'm thinking
the busted one is like. I think every 3 life leader at this point, now that Mom is like gone from the only one that could play it. Oh wait, I guess you could still play Mom in Red Purple Luffy.
You can,
but yeah, nobody's playing that dog shit deck. Anyways, like I think the biggest pitfall has been like you just get rushed down, and if you're at 0 life, you constantly have to produce blockers, right? But they get an 8 cost event that drops either a 10 cost Newgate that negates your whole board, basically like floodgates your whole board, or the other one that's a 10 cost 12k blocker. Yeah, so you get either one of those, and then you can, if you're at 0 life, you just get a free plus 2k. Or do you have to take the life to get plus 2k?
If your leader, this is the card. I am Whitebeard. If your leader's type includes Whitebeard pirates, play up to 1 Edward Newgate from your hand. Then you may add 1 card from the top or bottom of your life cards to your hand. If you do, up to 1 of your leaders gains plus 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you become an AK
so
leader.
You have to take the life.
Yeah, but
AK
then leader,
fucking balanced card piece of shit.
I mean so that's the actual event. The one I'm thinking of was the other one, the almost Sanji one, where you play the top card. You like draw the top card and give it rush. You saw that one, right? Because that's the one that Whitebeard and Ace run.
Yeah, for sure.
But like the thing about the Whitebeard pirate deck is like you can, or the Ace thing is like you can also run that 9 cost red Newgate that gives 9k, that gives you plus 2k too.
I
also didn't
become
mention
a 10k leader.
Yeah. If you have a dawn, if you have 1 dawn on him, and if you take damage or your character with 6k power or more is KO'd, you draw a card. So he draws a ton. Fucking he's a pretty crazy, pretty fucking strong set of things.
Like that's, and it also
it's
the reason why I put him above Emu is because again, Emu goes wide and spreads on the board with all this stuff, but like when you get to top end or late game stuff, like the Ace is so high that like the Emu kind of gets stonewalled by all of this like Newgate nonsense.
It's really tough to I feel like it's a bad matchup for Emu, correct?
Yeah, it's essentially it is a triangle, right? In that Emu gets checked by Ace, Ace gets checked by, or did I say Ace, or it is Ace, right?
Ace.
Ace gets checked by Zoro, and then Zoro gets checked by Emu. But like these are all hypotheticals. It's not such a bad triangle that like it's like 90-10, 90-10, 90-10.
They're not unwinnable matchups by any means. They're pretty balanced in that sense.
I definitely think Green Zoro can beat Emu for sure.
I mean, I'm looking right now at gumgum.gg, but even still, like the results are a little bit more varied. I mean, look, it's a lot of, it's 25% blue, red blue ace, right? 25%, 24% Emu, and then 23% Green Zoro. But then you get 9% Gold Roger, right? Which I think is a strong deck, but it is very high roll dependent, right?
Yeah. So
you also have Rayleigh,
oh
a lot of Rayleighs that are still kind of like spiking out. I think that's the new Bello Betty Elo terrorist kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have 3% Sabo decks. You have 2% Blackbeard decks. He's still there, Zach. He's still. If you want to switch, he's there.
How many plays does Ace run? That's what Zach's thinking right now.
Dude,
Luffy.
Ace is the one deck that when I saw it, I was like, fuck. Every Ace deck counters Blackbeard, ironically. Red Ace, oh, that's a horrible time. So when I saw Blue Red Ace, I was like, that's almost an auto loss matchup, I feel like.
Yeah, everything is like,
don't run rush, bro.
Everything's like, well, let me look at a list. Is everything like while attacking or like?
No,
it's a lot of blockers. There's just a lot of blockers.
Yeah, it's a lot of
statement. And I think look, in terms of this meta, I mean, do we feel? We were talking again about the episode, people. I'm just gonna put that episode up. Fuck it.
I was like, I thought we did.
No, we didn't. Yeah. We got it like we were like a week and a half late, but we're gonna put it up anyway.
We're gonna put it up.
We'll put this up, and then in the link in the description, we'll give you the other episodes so you can watch another hour and give context. So, in terms of this though, like is this meta the spiky? We don't like everybody has a chance, so there's not really an understanding of what to play. Like the like, do we like the way this meta is shaping up? And the other question I would have is, does this massively change when a Western audience gets a hold of these cards? I think for the answer to number 2, at least, I think this does change quite a bit when Western audiences get a hold of these cards. I feel like we're already seeing changes in the way people are playing OP12 compared to how the East played it.
Yeah, well, completely different format, right? Like our OP12 is actually just miles different, despite only 2 cards really seeing like not even a ban, just an exclusion from one deck. But I don't expect if like I genuinely just think, and I don't think this very often, but like OP13 just power creep the game to an extreme extent, and it's gonna be, are you playing an OP13 leader or Zoro kind of like sneaks in there, or are you just trying to like have fun and not really win at locals?
Well, you said does Blue Purple Luffy survive at all in this new meta, in this OP13 meta?
We have to see. I'm actually very curious because today, it's today or yesterday, I don't know when, but was the first day that they had that Goldie Roger promo legal. And just to quote it really quickly, it's an 8 cost 10k, no counter, and it says on play for Zach. On play, if you or your opponent has 10 on, then your leader gets plus 2k for the loop turn. So it's like a mini Newgate, but it's a purple card. So it's a great Sanji target in Blue Purple Luffy. And I think, you can kind of like fine tune what are the best Sanji targets now that Kata and Mom are gone. I think it's Mihawk, that Goldie Roger promo, and then like the Rush Luffy's, like the 9 cost and the 8 cost, right? Then I think the deck has a chance because I think even if you don't play it off of Sanji, just having an 8 cost 10k that, buffs your leader plus 2, that makes it's like such a good extension. Yeah, you have the Dawn, you have 2 Dawn open for your events, like I think it could be a contender once that promo comes out, but you know how it is for us in the West, like sometimes we just never get promos.
We'll never get out. Like you can get this promo if you go to this location at 4 a.m. and catch it off a fishing line or some shit like that.
I would do that for the girl promo at this point.
Yeah, the girl promo is the best example. Yeah, like Yellow Kid and Green Yellow Law just got their law, the 4 cost law that you play off of life, and it's too late. You don't even need it anymore, and you still can only get it through regional packs, right? So that's frustrating. And then the girl promo, that was like a tie-in to that anime episode, right?
Fan letter.
Yeah, the fan letter. Yeah. How are they going to give that to us? Are they going to give it to us?
I think the tricky part is like, again, we basically lose UI Nami, or UI Nami becomes almost irrelevant in November for us. So like, are we gonna get it in time? Maybe.
Probably not. I'm gonna be honest.
I think it's also a consequence of the game becoming global. because they kind of maybe want to start everybody fresh or whatever. I feel like, you know, do you think that they will? I mean, if the game becomes global, I know the set releases are global. Are the promos global?
Yeah,
do
they
we
would
get
have
the promos?
to.
Yeah. That's a big thing.
They would have to in some way. And I think
certain ones we won't though.
I mean, you don't know. Again, I would hope that they're smart enough to understand that like once they go global, they have to. I think the thing that I'm not less concerned about, but the thing is like my hope, right? My hope is that we go through this stage of awkwardness while they're speeding us up and like ramping us up into global release. And then once global release happens, then everything kind of shifts back to where, okay, now we're getting cards at the same time and everything works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm okay dealing with this like 6 months of awkwardness as long as we speed up correctly.
And I think honestly, to be honest, the 6 months of awkwardness is really great because you get to see a lot of experimentation with play styles and formats and everything like that. You know, you get to see a lot of different ideas pop up. I think the game is in a very volatile but healthy place, you know, in terms of the way it's playing. I definitely do think that it's a little homogenized with IMU and Zoro just kind of like carrying their will, you know, no pun intended, across these sets. But you know, I mean, do you think? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm also a little bit
competitive players,
huh?
Like, kind of our criticism last time when we had the in-person episode was like it's super unhealthy for competitive players to have to prepare for 20 or 25 decks, right? When it gets to 3 decks, yeah, it's a triangle and it sucks if you're not playing one of those 3, but it's not tier 0. And like it's not a tier 0 format where one is like absolutely crushing the other 2. And that means like it's very, hey, if you want to do well to regional, sit down, learn these 3 decks, learn how to combat them, and just go and you prepared, right?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Oh, go for it.
Well, no, I think that's the thing. That's the thing you want, right? Like we said, we want a hierarchy of these decks, and then that also gives, you know, there's so many leaders in this game, right? And we're losing some of them, but a lot of the really strong leaders that we get to keep, you know, there's gonna be somebody who there's got to be like a dark horse or two that comes out of this, right? That can combat these. That can
Doflamingo when they unban Jinbei.
Doflamingo just won a flagship. The Blue Dofi,
What
right?
hasn't won a flagship? That's the question we should be asking.
I think so. The thing I was going to bring up was like the meta right now. Again, I think it's great for like, again, the shop that we go to, right? Like everyone, there's a ton of new players that stop in and like are having a blast, and like that's awesome. And like again, like last week I lost to like 2 like very new players, which like again, should it happen? You can argue whether or not that should be the case, but also like I'm excited that they're able to pick up a win or 2 and like
they have a
good
chance.
time. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like
but preparing for decks for a regional is miserable.
Yeah,
because with Blackbeard,
like,
preparing for 4 to 5 decks is completely okay. Preparing for 20 decks is miserable.
Which is why
let's bring this up
on like you just build the best deck you can, or you build the best like version of whatever you want to build, and then you let the matchups fly as you might.
Yeah,
right? Like
for sure.
I think there's also something to say about like because we talked a little bit about this last time, and I think a thing is we never really got into the format of how Bandai does stuff, and I would love to bring this up because I feel like the way I mean, like you guys been going through a whole thing about their format recently, right? And I was just thinking we should talk about a little bit about how the Bandai formats this specific card game, because again, me and Chris from fighting games, we live on the, you know, double elimination rule, right? You got 2 out of 3 matches, you can counter pick, right? It is in your hands when you sit down at the table, whether you win or not. It's on you. Right. And you know, like there's luck in everything, but like it's largely on you. Obviously this is a card game, there's more luck than anything, but the lack of the side deck has always been something that I've wondered about in this game. And I understand that it could change a lot of stuff and everything like that, but so many of the complaints about the competitiveness of this game are like, well, I picked this deck, I stuck with it, and like it's just a roll of the dice whether I'm making that top cut because of the matchups that come by. And you know, of course we've seen people scrape by on bad matchups before, but is there an argument to be made that a side deck before you play a match, or a side deck you know,
so
after you play them, like is there
anti-side deck?
I'm super anti.
I'm very anti-side deck.
So I'm just the town drunk, just being like, we gotta get side decks.
Again, I understand your reasoning. I don't disagree with the reasoning. I'm anti-side deck because of the implications of what that creates within a meta.
What implications does it create?
Dean, you want to take it? Because I see you.
Oh no, mine is completely different. I just don't want to play a best of 3 game. Like I'm
not a best of 3 game, but I would say like
how else would you sideboard?
Sideboard before you get to the front and you register.
This. So again, the only way. So Dean, what Zed is maybe suggesting is like you sit down, you fist bump your opponent, and you both put down a leader. And once you know the leader, then you can side deck and then go and then play back, and then you start.
That would never work.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
never work, yeah.
Like that's your implication, right? That's like the implication.
Well, I mean, that's a version of it. I don't know why that wouldn't work, because the when you side, obviously you have to like, of course, there's a bunch of people who are cheating, and you would have to safeguard against cheating, right? Okay, but if you have a side deck where, because that also in and of itself creates a 50-50 scenario, right? Where if your opponent is switching out cards, right, against you. You can have cards that counter those cards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but now you're creating a weird dynamic where it is now who side decks last or who finishes last, and like, can you get an idea of what they're swapping in or how many cards they're swapping in? Like, look, if say, I can understand like Zed in this case, right? Like if we're playing and we both put on the leader and we both start side decking, I'm not going to touch my deck until I see how many cards you swap in and out.
Okay, that's true.
I'm more just
I'm not gonna touch my deck.
Here's another question though. Here's another question. I thought about this the other day because I had that whole blow up at that Las Vegas thing with the 2 decks, right?
Sure.
What if you had, because everybody has a pocket deck that they have, right?
Sure.
What if you brought 2 decks and at the beginning of the game, like when you both sit down, you pick a leader? I just fucking hate the roll, bro.
Yeah,
like I get that
it's against me anyways.
The only way you combat this, the only like reasonable from like competitive integrity, right? And we always talk about like this is like a fighting game, like an esports term, like competitive integrity, right? Yeah. If you wanted to do it the most fair way possible,
put 2 knives on the table and say who sticks the first.
No, you just do it. You do it with the triple deck. Like you have 3 decks and you play best of 3. And so you basically you put down your first deck. Once you win with the deck. Once you win with it, you're not able to use that anymore, and you have to it's first to win with all 3 of their decks, right?
Or just describe Eggman.
Sounds like a unique format.
No, I mean they do it in Hearthstone. They did it in Magic. Like it's a very basic format for card games, but it just takes forever.
I have a whole different argument against it, though. I don't like it because of what it does to card design. Because then you're going to have card design that's designed to tech against certain decking certain cards. Like, I hate it, and it's so not relevant right now. No, you don't. Not like Magic, where 2-card exile your opponent's entire graveyard. You would never play that normally, but you throw that in side deck for every graveyard deck. And now you have a card that literally just 100% stops your opponent's stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
And I don't like that because One Piece did it once, and thank God it died immediately. They did it recently, and I think Royal Blood, where it's like a black card or something, and it says specifically kill a 7-cost warlords or some shit. It's specifically warlord hate.
Oh, that was the gecko counter. Yeah.
Wait,
and I was like, I hate that card.
Hold on. Why did Zach say that? Like he's like a second class. That's warlord hate. Okay, that is explicitly prejudice towards warlords players. All right. You don't know how hard it's been for us out here. All right. Can't get a job. Can't go drink at the same water fountains as everybody else. You know, warlord players are people too.
Bring back my Doflamingo deck.
Yeah.
Hell no, leave that shit. Leave that shit in the Stone Age.
Leave that shit in the past, bro.
So really quick, the other thing, because this brings up another discussion point too of like, the timer, and like timer scamming, right? Because it's the same thing of like, so I don't know if you guys know, Practical Task is a Smash Smash Bros. Person, whatever. So he was asking on Twitter after watching like Pokemon Worlds, why in card games you don't use like a chess count, a chess clock. right? And it becomes a conversation of like, yeah, in theory, it's really easy of like, it's my turn, it's your turn, my turn, your turn, right? But then as soon as you put down a card and it's your turn, I'm going to ask you, what's that card do? Explain the card to me.
Can I see that card?
Can I see the card? I've never seen that before. And then,
it would work for games like Pokemon because there's no interaction timing on your opponent's turn, right? Like, for example,
sure, but I mean, even again, Dean, even that, like, I put down Goldango and you go, what does that do? Right? Like,
well, then you switch the clock and it's their responsibility to read the card.
Yeah, but then but then there's a weird interaction of who's actually on the clock at the moment, right? Because while you're looking at the card, I'm still in the middle of my turn thinking. So like, is it my turn? Is it your turn?
I guess.
And that's also how you start ruling arguments. Like you go to your GP opponent and are you sure you declared that 1K when you did your effect?
Yeah. As soon as that interaction starts, right? Then where does as soon as you push on the chess timer, where's the timer start? Where's the timer stop?
But so are we saying that there's no other way to, like, because I understand what you're saying, but are we saying there's no other way to figure out mitigations for these issues specifically in the One Piece?
There probably is, but there shouldn't be, is my argument. I'm taking a different stance than all of you guys because, like, realistically, we can say before the ban list, right? Blue Purple Luffy was the highest power ceiling deck. If you gave Blue Purple Luffy players a way to sideboard against their opponent pre-game or even after sideboard, there's no reason to play any deck other than Blue Purple Luffy.
I'm not necessarily saying a sideboard. I'm just saying, is there any way to mitigate?
Argument.
Well, I'm just saying, is there any way to mitigate, like, just a devastatingly bad matchup spread aside from card releases, right? Like I do. We were talking last week about how, like, oh, well, you don't know what deck to bring to Dallas because you could pretty much just practice a deck that makes sense, that does well, and then just bottom out from a 7-3 matchup, right? And I do think that it is great that they do like top 32 and then they do, you know, you can lose up to 3 matches, right? I think that baked in is a good,
depends on the size, but yeah.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. That helps a little bit with that, right? But part of me feels like, you know, if it's not in that initial Swiss, if it's in the Swiss after, right, or if it's in the double elimination after, because afterwards it's the double elimination bracket, correct? Right? So
well, no, afterwards
after that,
it's just top cut.
Yeah, it's top cut.
Oh, it's just best of one still?
Yeah, it's bracket,
no, best of 3.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's best of 3. It's best of 3 in that top cut.
Yeah, but it's bracket. It's not double elim. It's single elim.
Oh yeah. Sorry. No, but I'm saying it's best of 3 between every single player, right? In that best of 3, if there's a way to, I don't even side deck, or whether you have an alternate or something else to mitigate where it's player choice based, where you know a bad matchup is going to happen and you're not just going to lose because you rolled into a 7-3 versus, because then that encourages you playing the top of the meta, which has the least amount of bad matchups. It encourages less kind of experimentation of you trying to use your skill level to grind something out, right? I get the problems with it. But are we saying there's literally there's no go home, Charlie, you don't get a fucking everlasting gobstopper or whatever?
I think the problem is that the cons far outweigh the pros.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely think there's a way to do this in one way or another, whether it's side decking or something, right? But I think that what the result would be even more of a tier 0 or like finite format than we have now.
The thing that we were talking about, we just talked about it, like the idea of the game being like new player friendly, like even the idea of like banned pairs is like something that's challenging for a new player to grasp if you're just getting into it, right? And so like banned cards are one thing, banned pairs are another step of that, and then now if you're side decking on top of that, there's no chance for a new player to step in and like feel like they can compete.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So do you feel like so we're saying this kind of format's there. Are there any changes you would make to the Bandai format then for tournaments to make them more fair with the frustrations that are there? Are there any changes you think they should make?
You can just design better. I mean, that's like actually the only answer, because like as the game has been designed now, right? You're playing Rayleigh and you show up and your round 1 opponent is an L. You should lose just based on the card design, right? If they want to go and print cards that you can include that don't have a huge downside just to improve that matchup spread against control decks, whatever it may be, for Rayleigh or any given deck, right? Then let them do that, but printing those cards and then giving your opponent the chance to include them pre-game or post-game one, or like in a top cut scenario, I think would just close the gap or widen the gap rather between like top echelon, like power level decks and bottom echelon decks that are like we've been saying the last 2 episodes, like Elo Terrorists, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
I think
why would you play one of those decks?
The problem is that like what you're proposing, it benefits upper level decks rather than benefiting the low power decks.
I feel that. And I understand that. I just like a common complaint I hear like that we've had over these last couple of weeks, and again, it's because we come from a different format, and I'm like, I love that format. I love the fighting game format. Maybe not always 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 5 instead, right? Like, but never for card games. But like, I love the format of like, all right, well, this went one way, let's try twice. Let's value consistency, right? It values consistency over everything, and like that inconsistency is something that does like eat at me. But I understand it's something that you kind of have to deal with.
Well, again, it's the same thing of like, I think the charm of card games, and like the thing I like about TCGs is like the RNG and like inconsistency portion, and like mitigating that or playing around that is part of the skill. It's part of like your skill expression to like understand the odds and understand like what could happen, right? Again, it's like the thing of Dean the other, like, again, when he searches something or when he top stacks something and he knows, okay, I have 3 grav blades here, I need a grav blade. What are the odds of me pulling one if I do this in this sequencing? Right? It happened this weekend, or happened in Pokemon. It happened in Pokemon with a Goldango deck in the finals during Worlds. You know, like it's this, the way that you sequence can greatly extend your odds depending on the way that you're looking at the line. And again, so maybe you're rewarded with that, and sometimes maybe you're not, but it's part of the fun.
Because you guys have mentioned FGC, Zed and Chris, as both of you, one thing when we went to Evo that I absolutely loved that tournament, that fighting game tournaments do, is the double elimination. I think that's something that One Piece should do, because that would help mitigate. Yeah, you see that horrible matchup, but then you go down to the elimination bracket. And yes, don't get me wrong, it doesn't fully eliminate, but it gives you a little bit of buffer room. And I think that would be good.
Finals at the end. I mean,
yeah, and you do the same thing like that.
There could be. I mean, like you could have where you have like 2 top cuts
in Japan. I think it's called their Premier League or their Master Ball League, which is an invite-only league, which you have to qualify for with, you know, very, very high achievements in the card game, does have a winner bracket and a loser bracket. So I think it's something that you could use in like higher level gameplay within a game, right? Like, let's say you're playing in an invitational with the 30 best players, like at Worlds, for example, for One Piece. I think that could be cool. But like the issue with that is like, if I'm playing Rayleigh and I just see an L round 1 and an L round 2, that's not fair.
No. So no, I think Dean, what he's saying is like you run Swiss like we do now, and then when you hit bracket, instead of single bracket, it's double LM.
Oh, so only in top cuts, only like in top.
Yeah.
That wouldn't add that much time, right?
Fair.
Part of me would like to see it in a lower form, but I do agree that I don't know how well that would work.
They run nationals. Well, when they run the finals for national, isn't there like a large, like a Worlds or whatever invitational tournament that they run for like global?
For One Piece?
Yeah.
Well, One Piece, everything after regionals is invitational. Like Nats that we're going to next week is invitational, and then Worlds is the highest of invitational because only 2 to 3 from each
per
region.
Country go. Per national.
Yeah, I feel like there's I mean, like I understand there is some fairness baked in the format. I'm not saying that there's not, right? But my thing is like always mitigating. Like it's still, One Piece is still a relatively young card game, right? And you know, there are still things that like it feels like, you know, you'll play in a local, you'll play something, you're like, oh man, this is kind of weird the way the system works, right? Especially going to regionals, it felt a lot more fair just because, okay, you have 3 chances, so it's not like you fuck up once and you're over, right? You are like it's very unlikely you're gonna go you're gonna really like roll out. But like I do think that, you know,
Dean didn't get any characters.
I'll never forget that game, dude. My red green smoker player is just like, oh, it's UP Luffy's 10 Dawn turn. What's he doing? Shit, I don't know, bro. Red Rock your Tashigi? I actually don't know because I have all 2Ks in my hand in events.
Yeah, Dean played a UP game. For anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about, Dean played a UP game in Vegas. I think on stream, right? Or no, was it?
No, it was the game after stream.
After
so I was 4-0 or something.
On stream he won. On stream he was like,
won, but then the game
stream,
after
on stream
that,
he was putting in the work, and people were like, "How the fuck are you arranging your mat? What the fuck is going on here?"
But then the game directly after that, Dean literally didn't see characters, like no characters in his hand at all.
Dude, it happened twice, and it happened in the last round too against this black purple Luffy. And I got to 10 on. I'm like, dude, all I have is Sanji in my hand. We're fucking doing it, right? Like, we're just gonna blind flip, and either we're a G or we're actually just ass at this game. And I told bro, I was like, yo, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I got 10 cards in hand. I have one character, and it's Sanji. So I said, we're rolling this dice. If it's a character, I'll keep playing. If it's an event or something, I'm actually just gonna scoop. Dude, it was Sanji blocker. And Sanji can't play Sanji characters. I was like, okay, bro, you got. I literally saw it, and then I flipped it back over, and then he was like, "Yo, what card was that? Let me just make sure so I know." And I was like, "Dude, it's fucking Sanji blocker. You saw me. Oh my god, I got BM'd that regional so much."
Dude,
can I see it again? Can you say it out loud so everyone can hear you?
So
yeah, I saw Dean afterwards,
flip.
and I was like, "What happened?" He goes, "I didn't see characters." I was like, "What do you mean you didn't see characters?"
What do you mean?
Crazy, dude.
Bro, it's wild. Well, all right, we've had a little bit of a nice little podcast. I think we have. Do we have anything major coming up in the next week or two for One Piece, for regionals or anything like that? I know Dallas is coming up eventually.
Dallas
That's next week, and
yeah.
Oh, that's next weekend.
I was gonna say yeah. So we'll post last week's episode and then this week's, and then you're not gonna hear from us for a while because we have Dallas into October regionals, and we'll find time to film it sometime in between that because now we're entering our competitive season.
Yeah,
I have Dallas, and then the week after I have a store regional, and then while we're in Dallas, I have LCQ Pirate League. If I don't make it into Nats. There's so many tournaments.
We can figure out a time to film after when Chris is, because Chris is traveling next weekend, right?
Yeah, I'll be next week. Well, I'll be in Dallas next week.
We're all
and then
traveling next weekend.
I'll be France, and then 2 weeks after that. But then we have LA regionals when I get back.
All right, so we'll figure out a time. We also want to try to post like some like direct content that's like deck lists and shit like that and other things like that. So we're figuring that
Blackbeard.
out. All righty. Yeah, Blackbeard, like the new Blackbeard list.
The new Blackbeard is just 2 different cards.
Yeah. Before we go, we tell you guys every single time, it's the best mat you can get. It's the best mat made by players for players. It's skilldiff.gg. If you go right now to skilldiff.gg and enter in the code GoForLethal5, you get 5% off. If you enter in the code Dean Love Me, Dean will come to your house, take you out on a nice little date. He'll buy you dinner, and then you have to buy 70 mats. You have to buy 70 mats.
I will hand deliver your mats and then explain the 10 Dawn Gecko Moria combo and BYY serenade you.
There you go.
Dean will go to your house, deliver your mats, and watch a Julia Roberts movie of your choice.
No, I draw the line there.
That is something we gotta do. Okay, hold on.
At that point, Zed's buying like 200 mats.
When to clue, Chris? When do you leave?
I leave to Dallas Thursday.
You leave next Thursday to Dallas?
Yeah.
We all leave next Thursday to Dallas.
I don't leave to Dallas. I'm not going to Dallas because I'm fucking stocked up. Are we free at all this weekend? We need to watch something with Dean.
I will give you one Julia Roberts movie, and you better pick the fucking best one because I'm only watching one.
If it's the best movie overall, I mean,
Aaron Brockovich.
I like Pretty Woman, but like,
I mean, I'm never Pretty Woman.
Does Pretty Woman actually have a Godzilla scene, or are you guys BMing me?
I mean, we're not BMing. It's metaphorically a Shin Godzilla scene. It's metaphorically that.
Also, it's better than canonic West Godzilla. It's Shin Godzilla.
I mean,
it's not -1, but like it's good.
It's iconic. It's very iconic. But we'll do a deal. Let's figure out a time if we can do a Dean react or something like that.
Is she in Pulp Fiction, dude? I want to see that movie.
That's Uma Thurman. What the fuck is going
Yeah.
on?
Who the
All right,
fuck
then
is
my name
Uma
is Zed
Thurman,
Tabani.
Wait, have you seen Kill Bill?
No, we talked about this.
We gotta do
last
Kill
time.
Bill. We gotta do Kill.
Okay.
All right,
Kill Bill.
We're gonna do a Dean reacts at some point. My name is Zed Tabani.
I'm Dean Kazanov.
I'm Zach Chamberlain.
And I'm Chris Okamura.
And we're gonna figure this the fuck out. See you guys soon.
See ya.